Back in 2019, when AutoEV first burst onto your screens, I declared then that the new Tesla Model 3 was, and I believe I'm quoting myself directly here, a game changer. I said it set a new benchmark for electric cars because it was the first real electric car that could stand comparison with its contemporary piston engine equivalents and be judged accordingly. And judge it we did. But as we know, the electric car market is ever evolving and ever changing, and it hasn't taken long for legacy manufacturers to catch up to the new upstart of Tesla, and in some cases overtake them. Well, here they are, launching their fourth product, if we discount the rather kind of niche roadster that they started with, into probably the most hotly contested sector of them all, the compact SUV. But this car was actually unveiled nearly 3 years ago. In fact, by the time the first UK cars are delivered, it's going to be almost 3 years to the day since the covers were first pulled off it. Yet given the success of Tesla and the following that it has, will that matter? Welcome to the Tesla Model Y, and of course, welcome to AutoEV. Now, of course, before we get started on this week's road test of the new old Tesla Model Y, it is of course time for a little bit of housekeeping. Please remember to like the videos, subscribe to the channel and press the little bell button down below so you receive notification of when our next video goes live. With the amount of content that we've got coming over the next few months, trust me, you will not want to miss a thing. The Model Y, what is it? Well, it's, as I say, it's the fourth model if we don't include the little roadster that he started with. But it's the fourth model of a serious kind of nature, and serious it is. In fact, this will probably in some ways overtake the Model 3 as the company's bestseller, because as I say, it's going straight into a sector that we all seem to love at the moment, which is the compact SUV kind of crossover market. But as I say, it's a competitive market and there are lots and lots of talent out there, a lot of which we really do rate highly. So given all of that, is this Model Y going to go straight to the top of our chart as well as possibly Tesla's sale charts? Time to put it through the AutoEV road test and find out. So as always, let's start with styling. Hardly a Tesla strong point, and oh dear, yeah. It's about as exciting looking as a custard cream biscuit. I mean, it is effectively just a Model 3 that someone stuck a bellows up the exhaust pipe of and done that with. Well, if the Model 3 actually had an exhaust pipe. I mean, the same kind of odd guppy mouth, the same kind of... It's slightly in better proportion, I will say, to the Model 3, because it is higher. I mean, it's, you know, you can see it does sit much higher, and it's got these kind of black trims around the side. But yeah, I mean, look, Elon Musk is one of the world's richest men. For the love of Pete, please, 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 just hire someone that knows how to draw a car that's actually good looking and exciting. Please, Elon, please, for the, you know, just for the sake of all of us. Yeah, just, yeah. Oh yeah, I suppose I better do the rest of the car as well. Okay, yeah, it's so as I say, it's a Model 3 that's been kind of done like that. Yeah, that do. No, you want more? Okay, what else can I say? So there's two models which we'll come on to later. There's the long range car, which this one is, and there's a performance model. The long range car has 19-inch wheels as standard. These are 20s, the optional 20s. The performance gets 21-inch wheels. Yeah, they're quite nice, you know. I wouldn't go any smaller than that. I think they might look a little bit lost in these arches otherwise. Yeah, more? Okay, yeah, it's got the same kind of door handles and frameless windows. There's a line that kind of runs there. Yeah, it's white. Round the back now? Yeah, okay. Round the back, it's yeah, it's just the same, really. Yeah. Oh, it's a hatchback. Model 3 isn't, it's a saloon. So it's got a hatchback, and you still got the big kind of glass roof. It's got this weird bit of plastic down there. It's now got a leaf on it. That's quite interesting. Yeah, that enough? Can we do other stuff now? Yeah, okay. Great, brilliant. Thankfully for Tesla, we don't just conclude our AutoEV road tests on styling. We've got other things to look at too. And the next one is practicality. And this is where it can start to claw back some of what it's lost, because it is simply vast back here. The boot space is 854 litres, which is, well, that, to be honest with you. And you've also got, remember, underfloor storage, which is big enough to get actually one of these carry-on bags in there and fold that down as well. So there's a huge amount of storage. There's also a little bit just underneath this front piece of flooring as well, so you can put extra cables in there or hide things in there, like, I don't know, children or something like that. Not that I'm suggesting you should hide children under the floor of your car, obviously. Suitcase wise, yes, right, okay, so large suitcase in there, medium suitcase in there, one carry-on in there, and another carry-on there, and there is still all this space here. I've run out of suitcases, to be honest with you, it's so big. Now, as I say, the seats split as well, so just to show you that, and that's done from the boot, so you can fold down the rear seats as well in a sort of 60-40 split, and the middle section will also go through to give you a little bit of a ski hatch. Now that space extends up to 2,154 litres, which I think, if I'm correct in saying, is about the same size as Portugal. So yeah, there's plenty of room back here in the boot. The only downside is there's no parcel shelf. There's no load cover, that's it, it's all open. Now I know there's privacy glass in the back, but from a security point of view, I think that's a bit of an omission, if I'm being honest with you. But it does counter by obviously having more space up at the front. So there we go, that's 117 litres in there, and it's all plastic and easily wiped clean, so you can chuck in your dirty wellies. Or, there's another carry-on, and that fits in there quite amply with extra room for more, so you can't knock its practicality, can you? And bear in mind, this is the all-wheel drive version too, so that space in there is still has a motor in it as well. So fair play, Elon, fair play. Now, normally what would now happen is I jump into the back seat of the test car and show you the amount of room that I have, or don't have as the case may be, how easy it is to get child seats in there, and what it basically feels like to sit in the back of the car. And this is important for the Tesla Model Y, because obviously this is going to be a sort of family SUV. However, when it came back to editing it, I realised that part of the video wasn't there. Now, I'm not sure why, because I'm not technically minded that way. Anyway, so lesser channels would probably just say to you, well, there you go, it's big enough in the back, and leave it at that. But not us, we're professional. So what you will now see is a picture of the rear seats of the Tesla Model Y, and I will now explain to you what the room is actually like. It's big. I set the driving seat up for myself. It was a left-hand drive car that we had, and the driving seat set up for myself. And as you may or may not know, I'm between 5'7" and 5'8" in height. And sitting behind myself, there was plenty of space in terms of knee room and leg room. Headroom is going to be a bit tighter for people that are taller than me. Again, it was fine for me, but if you're taller than me, you're going to find headroom a little bit tight because of the way the glass roof kind of slopes back there. But in terms of space for your feet and your legs, absolutely fine. You'll get 3 across, there's no doubt about it. There's 2 ISOFIX points, one in the outer seats, on either outer seat, but you'll certainly get 3 people across the car, and that's helped, of course, by the fact that the car has a flat floor. Now, Tesla are saying that there is a 7-seat option available, which I will show you a picture of now. That has not been confirmed that it will come to the UK, and if it does, then I would say to you that what you will find is it will purely be for children because of the slope of that rear screen, so do bear that in mind. In terms of storage space, was a flip down armrest. It has 2 cup holders in it, but of course you find that your elbows kind of fall into those. It would maybe be nice if they'd had maybe them underneath a little, if they'd been on a pop-out tray, or if you'd had a cover that you could slide over them, but you know, at least it has something. Door bins, yes, it had those, and they were lined as well to stop things kind of rattling around. And of course, on the back of the 2 front seats, there are map pockets. There's connectivity in the back with 2 USB-C charging ports as well, although one thing I do feel it does lack is rear climate control. Again, at the price point this Tesla's coming in at, you would have thought it would have at least had the option to offer you 4-zone climate control, but it doesn't. So whatever's set in the front is what you get in the back. Anyway, rear seat space is good for the car. There's plenty of lounging space and it's nice and easy to get in and out of. One thing I will also say is because they've heightened the car, and obviously with the batteries underneath, what you will find is you don't feel your legs are being pushed up like they are in the Model 3. So again, there's plenty of sort of like support for underneath the thighs. But all in all, excellent sort of like space back here as you'd expect. Helped of course by the flat floor, but taller people, remember that sloping rear roofline may impede into your headroom. Anyway, back to the normal video now. Now the similarity to the Model 3 continues on the inside of the Model Y, which we can see is a good thing in fairness, because if you've used the Model 3 dashboard, you'll know how easy and how slick it is to use. If you haven't used it, let me be very, very clear, you will be shocked at how quickly you become accustomed to using this. And it's the one thing I can't really fault Tesla about at all. It is a really slick interface and you soon get where actually everything is. And it's all controlled through this screen. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we've covered it previously in the Model 3 videos that we've done. And as I say, it is exactly the same. But yeah, just to kind of recap, all your controls are here, your wipers, your music and infotainment, your navigation system. You've got things like your entertainment system as well, where you've got computer games that you can kind of sit and play if you get bored while you're waiting on the car to charge up and things like that. What else have we got? Toy box, yeah, you can have a nice roaring log fire if you want. You can make the seats do what they do. If you haven't seen that, they fart. It's very childish. But yeah, as I say, it's nice and easy to use and it's slick and it works. And I have to say, it's exceptionally good. I've mentioned it in the Polestar videos. The only thing I would have liked to have seen is maybe a heads-up display. Maybe something just in front of you as a driver that just gives you the quick information like your speed and such, like, rather than having to just move across temporarily to this center screen. As I say, you wouldn't have to have a binnacle. A heads-up display would be perfect, I think, for that type of thing. But it doesn't, and as I say, it's maybe just me that feels that way, so there we go. What's the rest of it like? Well, as I say, it's pretty much like the Model 3 if you've got the new updated Model 3. If you don't, then you'll see some changes. You've got 2 wireless charging pads for mobiles here. You've got this sort of like center console, which is just vast and deep in terms of its storage. I've got a couple of cup holders here, nice kind of deep center armrest there, nice deep door bins which are lined, which is nice, kind of stops things rattling around. You've got the full width kind of face vent. The quality's good, and I'm going to leave it at that. This is a left-hand drive car, so it's one of the very, very first that we've been given loan of. Tesla quality's never been a strong point, in fairness, not just the build quality, but the quality in terms of reliability. So I'm not going to focus too much on that, just in case I'm kind of doing this a bit of a disservice. All I will say is this: at the price point this car is at, they cannot afford to get that wrong. They cannot afford to get it wrong, because everyone else that's coming into this market space that has a car at this price point, build quality is exceptional, and from what we've heard from owners, reliability has been good. So that's something that Tesla's going to need to really concentrate on, as well as their customer service. So we're going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say any more. That's how I'm going to leave it, but just that's something to take into consideration as well. The seats are okay. Again, they're like the Model 3. They're sort of plump and comfortable, if a little bit unsupportive. They're all right. As I say, I wouldn't have them as particular white leather. The steering wheel is in a nice position. You can adjust it easily. I think the rim's too fat, personally, for my liking. It's nice that it's round. None of this silly yoke thing that they're going to be doing next year on the Model S and Model X. It's a nice round steering wheel. Controls fall easily to hand. And I say the visibility is good, because even though you've got this big screen, it's lower than the baseline of the windscreen. So as I look out, I can just see the screen. So visibility is good. And obviously, as you over your shoulder visibility, we'll see that when we drive. That's pretty good too. And obviously you've got your camera systems which are available as well, which aid that. So on the whole, I'm not going to spend too much longer on this, because I say it is like the Model 3. But that's just like the Model 3. It's starting to, it's a bit the same really. Nice to have seen something a bit different, but there we go. Now, if you were to ask a current Tesla owner what it is they love about their car and their main reasons for buying it, I would happily bet some money it's one of three things. The performance, the range that you get out of it, and the charging infrastructure, because without doubt the Tesla supercharging network is the best charging infrastructure that's out there. However, Tesla have said that they are considering and looking into opening their charging network up to non-Tesla owners. Now, whilst other EV users may rejoice at that, it is going to take away a little bit of the USP of buying a Tesla. And they're trialling it in the Netherlands at the moment to see how it goes, and obviously it may roll out across the world thereafter. So just be warned about that. Anyway, let's talk about this car. What is it? Well, it's a 75 kilowatt hour battery, irrespective of whether you go for this, the long range car, or the higher grade performance. If you stick with this car, the WLTP range is 315 miles. If it's the performance, it drops to just 298 miles, but still very, very good. Charging is done as usual via this port at the back. It's CCS charging, and using a rapid charger, you will see the Tesla go from 10 to 80% in 30 minutes. There are two variants of the Model Y available. There is this, the long range car, which has 347 brake horsepower, which will slingshot you and your children to 60 miles an hour in just 5 seconds. But if you feel that's not adequate enough, then of course there's the performance model, which is just over 480 brake horsepower, and that will spray the back screen with Ribena and salt and vinegar crisps in just 3.7 seconds. 3.7 seconds for a family SUV getting to 60 miles an hour. Now, that's always been kind of Tesla's party piece, I suppose, that outrageous traffic light Grand Prix and scintillating acceleration. But you know what? Just getting bored of it now. The reason I'm getting bored of it is because the rest of the car, the rest of its dynamics, fall short badly. This car rides unacceptably harshly. You see, what Tesla have done is they've given the Model 3 a bit of a jack up, but because all the battery's underneath, when you raise all that up, what you do is you raise the centre of gravity, which means as you go into a corner, because the centre of gravity is higher, the car's going to roll more. So what they've done is they've said, well, what we need to do to stop it rolling is we need to stiffen the suspension. And that's what they've done. That's all they've done. They've just made it stiffer. They haven't fine-tuned the damper and spring rates. They've just gone, well, we'll make it stiffer and it'll stop it rolling. The upshot of that is you have a ride quality that is, in my opinion, is unacceptable for a family car. Trust me on this, if you have ordered one of these, you need to drive it before you confirm it, because in my opinion, on anything other than a billiard table smooth road, this is unacceptable. It's so stiff, it's so harsh on its ride quality. Now, I know this car's got 20-inch wheels, but I can't see dropping it to 19s, which are the standard size, is going to make a huge difference. It's just uncomfortable. It really is. And of course, the other upside of that is, let's be honest, they've not had the best reputation for build quality. Now, I know this is a left-hand drive car that's been brought across for us press to drive, but mark my words, I reckon with this harsher ride, in 5,000 miles time, this thing is going to have more rattles than the shelf at Mothercare. It's just poor. It shows a real lack of finesse in terms of Tesla's engineers. And I'm sorry, it's the same with the styling. It's just exactly the same. It's kind of like, well, people are going to buy it anyway, so we'll just do that and just stick it on sale. No, you can't do that anymore. You can't. There's too much other talent out there, for you to do that. The Ford Mustang Mach-E, the Audi Q4 e-tron, the Skoda Enyaq, all of these cars drive better than this, and they're a lot cheaper. When you get above £50,000, my goodness, is there some talent out there on the EV market that drive better than this car? Sorry, I've really been quite shocked by this. Now, let me get away from that for a second and stop bleating on and talk about the rest of it, because the rest of it is, well, it's Tesla. As I say, if you've driven a Model 3, you're pretty much driving a Model Y, but you're sitting a bit higher up in what feels like it's suspensions on bricks. The visibility is very good. The way they mount the screen on the car, I have to commend them for that, because obviously it's mounted slightly lower, so you can see the base of the windscreen. There are some cars that are just too high and it impedes your vision out. This doesn't do that. It's nice. It's within easy reach. As I said, I'd like to have seen a sort of heads-up display. That would have been quite nice, but that's maybe just me. It's no different to a car having had a centrally mounted speedo, you know, like a Mini or something. Visibility around about you is good as well. You can easily see out of the car, and obviously you've got the plethora of driving aids that Tesla give you in terms of autonomy. And that's another thing. When did we stop wanting to drive cars? When do we stop wanting cars? If I want to be driven in a car, I'll order an Uber. Do I need all of this? I'd rather have a car that actually drove nicely, if I'm honest with you. Especially one that's going to cost me the thick end of 55 grand. Handling wise, well, you know, as I say, it might handle if they had actually bothered to do something with the chassis. As it is, all you seem to do is we pitch into bend, because it's so stiff and so harsh, the car doesn't move, but you do. You tend to roll out. You roll out of the seat. The seats are, you know, they're padded well enough, and my goodness, they need to be, but they don't really offer any support. Now bear in mind, you're going to have 3 kids in the back potentially, and that's a flat bench over there. They're just going to be sliding about on this animal-free pleather. This is a really massive flaw. A massive flaw, even more so than styling. I can actually put up with the dull styling if the car drove better. It doesn't. I am looking forward to actually handing this car back. It's so uncomfortable to drive. Oh, thank God, a new piece of road. Now, pricing for the Model Y is going to be nice and easy, because at the moment there's just the 2 models, both of which are dual motor, so all-wheel drive, as I've said, and we start the range with this one, which is the long range, and that comes in at just under £55,000. If you want the performance model, then that's only going to be cost you another £10,000 at just under £65,000. That's before any options, and these prices are correct obviously at time of filming. There may be more models do come online, and Tesla have done this in the past. For instance, as I've said, there may be the option of 7 seats. There may be, you know, a single motor, slightly cheaper variant at some stage in the future, but none of that has been confirmed. So at the moment, it's just the 2. Now, as I say, pre-orders for this car started a little while back, and deliveries should start in the first quarter of 2022. Now, as I said right at the start of this video, the Model Y is coming into a marketplace that is bursting with cars and talent. So what else could you be looking at to consider against the Tesla Model Y? Well, at less money, there are cars, good cars, such as the Hyundai Ioniq 5, Kia's EV6, a car that we're going to be testing in a couple of weeks' time. That's coming in at a lower price point. Audi's Q4 e-tron, Mercedes GLA, Ford Mustang Mach-E, Skoda's Enyaq, all of those cars come in at much less money than the Tesla Model Y. At similar price point to this, there's going to be more premium brands, such as the higher specifications of the likes of the Audi Q4 e-tron 50, the Mustang Mach-E GT, that's going to be a competitor for the performance version of this, BMW iX3, Genesis GV60, pretty much even you're knocking on the door of Jaguar's I-Pace at the top level of this car. So as I say, it's got its work cut out, and there's a lot of cars out there that have the answers to the questions that the Model Y is struggling with a bit. So here's what we like and what we don't like about the Tesla Model Y. We like its range and efficiency, vast space on offer, its searing performance, and access to that charging network. We don't like its rather dull and boring styling. The build quality is still not quite on par with premium rivals at the same price point. The ride is unacceptably firm, and it doesn't bring anything new to a burgeoning and very talented marketplace. I am under no illusions whatsoever that no matter what I say about this car, it will sell by the bucket load. All but 10 years ago, Tesla were a minnow, whereas now they are a big fish in a very big pond, showing other legacy car manufacturers the new way, the electric way. They have engineered, built and delivered cars that stand comparison and judgment against their piston engine contemporaries, and rightly so. But that doesn't excuse them now delivering us a mediocre product, which is exactly what I think the Model Y is. You see, when they launched the Model 3, it kind of stood alone in its market space. It still does in some ways, and it's still relative there. Whereas the Model Y comes into a market space that is bursting with talent from legacy manufacturers, and from manufacturers we maybe hadn't even considered in the past. Hyundai, Kia, not to mention Skoda. The Model Y has to deliver, and I'm afraid it just doesn't. All that blistering performance is all well and good, but why do I want blistering performance in a family SUV? It's not necessary. I'd rather have something that rides better, that's more comfortable for my family. There are other cars out there that deserve your money before this car. This car needed better dynamics before we could be judging it. Well, judge it we have, and we found it wanting. Thank you for watching AutoEV. As always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel and press the little bell button down below so you receive notification of when our next video goes live. As I've said, there is going to be a huge amount of content coming soon, so make sure that you're available to watch all of that. Remember, we're also on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn and Instagram, so give us a follow if you will, unless obviously you're from the Tesla Owners Club, which I'll completely understand why not. And if you haven't been there, remember autoev.co.uk, where you can go back and where I did say nice things about Tesla, and you'll be able to see that as proof. Right, I'm going to go and put a hard hat on and await the comments. Thanks for watching, we'll see you soon. So, you've watched our video. It's now my job to tell you to like and subscribe and press the little bell button to receive notification of when our next video is uploaded.